Mhm. Alright, well, according to Google Hangouts, we are live. So, Jim, go ahead.
All right. So, hey, everybody. Welcome to RPG Enlightenment. Tonight, we're doing the first official playtest for the system that I'm working on with the help of all these awesome guys. And it is titled the Horhelm Competition. And it's going to be pretty awesome. Where the name of the game is player versus player. So we're just going to hop right on into it. The bright morning sun is beating down on the sand streets of Horhelm, and the city is alive with vendors, citizens, and hundreds upon hundreds of travelers here in the war capital for the first time to see the Horhelm competition. You see people from every race and every religion filling and filing through the streets towards the Horhelm Coliseum, which is the most prestigious area in all of Adventura. It is where the most famous fighters have gotten their beginnings and met their ends. The buildings of Horhelm rise up around you, made of a glossy white stone, with high arches and open doorways. Statues line the streets, and there are engravings on the buildings and pillars. They all depict what you assume to be ancient heroes and the beasts that they battled. Even in the early morning light, the heat is unrelenting, and sweat builds up on your brow. It takes almost an hour to push your way through the crowded streets as you make your way to the registration at the front of the Horhelm Coliseum. We pan in on two of our would-be competitors. Alex and Josh, if y'all want to, we'll start with Alex. If you want to introduce yourself and your character.
Yeah, you see a massive, hulking mass of a guy wearing thick armor that is just way too big and
Did we lose Alex?
I was wondering the same thing, or if it was just me.
I think so.
Am I still here?
Okay, yeah, you are.
Okay, he's a huge guy, and he's sweating into the heat in his huge armor, but he's got a big grin on his face, and he goes, Loki, my friend, finally, we have arrived at the competition where we can prove our honor.
Yes,
I know you're
friend.
not much for that type of stuff. But...
Kind of like one arm, probably not even touching his shoulder, but like kind of on his back, kind of using him to like part the people, seeing as how big he is, as you know, we push through the crowd to the whatever table system that they have set up for registration. It appears we are here, my friend. It is time for us to conquer and win that prize.
And as they make their way towards where they know to be the registration area, we kind of pan out and go to the other side of town as two more would-be adventurers and conquerors make their way through these streets. Chad and Jason, if you'd like to introduce yourselves and characters. Chad, you can go first.
I'm Chad, and I'm playing Azir. And
He looks like, mostly you'd probably notice his helmet has a singular horn that juts out like a rhinoceros, and on top of it is brazen, a white gold polished naked woman. He was under the assumption that to enter the Horhelm competition that he needed a Horhelm. And so he's wearing that, and it's completely covering his face at this time. And then he has a heavy white cloak because he reigns from the tundra. And you can see his massive right arm. He's already a massive being as it is. You can't really make out necessarily what species he is, but his right arm is even more massive, and it seems to almost put him at a lean to the right arm, and he carries it heavy with him. And his arms are, at least the massive arm is a white metal as well.
And next to him, you see a rather short fellow, about 4'2", wide though. And when he walks, he shakes the ground like he has some weight with him. He's wearing reinforced chainmail, carrying 2 battle axes, several knives shoved across his chest, a net on one of his sides, and some knuckle dusters already strapped to his fingers. And he says, "Oh, I can't wait to get in there and smash some heads. It's going to be glorious." As he pats his buddy on the back.
I plan to help you do just that.
It's going to be fun.
So y'all push your way through the crowd, and you see the you arrive at the Horhelm Coliseum. You could see it from miles back. It's just this massive dome-like structure with an open top. So the sun is just beating down on the inside. And you see 2 long lines have formed just outside the entrance of the Coliseum. And there are 2 small tables. And there are 2 women at the heads of these tables. And it looks like that people are coming up and signing their name and they're being given something, but it's kind of hard to make out what. And you each of these 2 teams go and get into one of these lines. And after a few moments, more file in behind each of them. And Diok and Loki, you both would hear, look at this, Sharem. A little boy wants to enter the tournament. And he kind of laughs, and he has this like hissing kind of laughter. And you hear another voice, deeper. I see, Kaga. This will be the easiest thing we've done in a while if all the other competitors are like these weaklings. And if you were to turn around, you would see 2 large figures behind you. And you can immediately tell that both of them are from the Raptora race. They're very serpentine and reptilian. One of them you can immediately tell is from the python species. The other one is more massive and more bulky and has an elongated snout. And you can tell that he's from the crocodile species. And they're standing right behind you, almost too close for comfort.
Did I tell you about that time when I was a young boy traveling with Calvan? I picked up a few lizards on the ground. Ha! Caught them like nothing. Squashed their heads against some rocks and wore them on my helmet for 3 days. They rotted in the sun. It was glorious. I see we'll get the opportunity to perform a similar feat shortly.
kind of smirking at that, you hear a light chuckle. As you can kind of see, shining against the chainmail that Loki has on his wings, kind of spewing out a little bit, kind of like as like a backup. You're getting a little too close. Kind of whacking them in the face a little bit, just so that way they back up. Oh, trust me, we'll have plenty of fun between now and the end of the games.
And Dia kind of turns around, pretending to notice these guys for the first time when they get hit by the wings, and goes, "Oh, sorry, didn't mean to offend you if that was your cousin I was talking about earlier. Looks just like you."
The big, massive one, the crocodile Raptora, just like takes a big step forward and like puffs his chest out and just like lets this like guttural hiss out. And the python Raptora kind of quickly, almost like in the blink of an eye, is covered the distance and it's like standing in between both of you and is, "Are you looking for a fight?" And he turns to Loki. "Snakes eat birds."
No, we're not looking for a fight. We came here to enjoy the delicious food at the banquet of the Horhelm Championship.
Is
That's what this is about, right?
Is the python Raptora wearing like pants or anything of that sort?
Thank you for bringing that up. The python Raptora is bare chest. He does have some like tattered pants on. Like they're definitely like he did not get dressed up for this by any means. But other than that, he doesn't look like he has any armor on. The crocodile Raptora, the only thing that you can actually see, he has a massive like cloak on, even in this heat. And has like its hood drawn. So, but because of this long snout, you can still see his face and still make out the species. But other than that, you actually can't see anything else of this this Raptora, the crocodile one.
Okay, so with the python one, would you say that he's like within arm's length of me?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of reach out towards him and just like poke him with just a finger. And as I poke him, I want like the minerals, like the like kind of like soil, like that black minerals, to kind of start swirling around my hand, around him. And as soon as I touch him, I just want like a hot, like heavy rock just to like form on his chest and like be attached, and then just cause like, I'm imagining kind of like an actual snake person. Is that kind of how it actually is? Like an actual python, or is it like humanoid too?
Yeah, it's humanoid.
Okay, well, I want it to just be like where it's just like, and then he kind of like ends up like falling over because he's not expecting it, and it's just like that big weight on his chest, and he just like kind of falls. So I don't know if you need me to roll for anything.
Yeah, we'll consider it an attack roll, even though it's not an attack, and just to give me like a DC to kind of go off of. But when you do it, add your mana modifier to it instead of your normal attack bonus.
All right, so just a normal D20, right?
Yeah.
So that would be a 13.
Oh yeah. Well, seeing as how he rolled a 2 on the die, I'm not even gonna go look up anything for the race. he's so this little formation of rock kind of forms in on his chest, and he goes to fall, and almost like lightning, the crocodile Raptora arm shoots out and like grabs his teammate by the shoulder, and is just like holding him up, and kind of brings him back to a full stand up. and then just reaches out, and this massive hand comes out with just one kind of claw, and he flicks the this incrustation of rock on his chest, and it just kind of whoosh, shatters and shoots across to the point where there's like people now looking because there's like fume of dust, and you hear that that guttural growl from the crocodile, and then there's also like a hiss from the snake, and then you hear from the front. There's a woman that's kind of been walking up and down the line, and she's like, hey, save it for the competition. We don't need any fighting in the streets.
Upon hearing that from this lady, you kind of see Loki turn with his, boyish, smile at the lady. My apologies, my dear. And then looks back to the snake, the python, just like, you, I give no damn to face in the arena. And then looking up at the crocodile, but you, I look forward to meeting. And then just turns and takes my rightful place, either back in line or if,
Awesome. So within a few minutes, it doesn't take long. The line's moving very quickly. You've gotten to the front. And about the same time, both of these teams have gotten to the front of their corresponding lines. And in front, you see a piece of paper, and you see a box. And it's a box big enough for a hand to fit in. And the woman that's at the front or behind this table is, if you just write your name, and then we will assign you your lot number. And so you each sign your name one after the other. And what I need everybody, all four of you, to do is roll a D100 for me.
All right, so how exactly do you roll a D100?
All right, so you're going to roll the D100 die, so the one that that's a 20, 50, 60, all that, and then a D10.
Oh.
22.
75.
57.
I got a 3.
Okay, right on. Okay, okay. Yes, and she explains, and what's happened to you. She's explained that you need to get your lot number, and she holds out the box, and you each kind of like reach in and pull out this like little parchment of paper, and it has each of the numbers that you have rolled on it. And she tells you these are your contestant numbers. These are your lot numbers. Keep them with you at all times, and for we will generally refer to you as your number. There's too many names on this list to remember everybody by name. And waves you on kind of almost impatiently, like, okay, now you're done now. Go inside.
Thank goodness I chose a number I can count to.
So inside the Coliseum it's not like walking directly into the opening. There's like this foyer area, and it looks like there's hundreds of men and women gathered, standing all in this large grand lobby. As you look around, you see 8 tall statues that are acting as columns and pillars, holding the ceiling up, holding this vaulted ceiling. Each statue has a different man carved on it, and they each have unique weapons and unique armor, and each one having a very unique face. You can tell that these are warriors, people that have won in this Coliseum. Let's see. Jason, what is your character's name? I'm sorry.
Dragnar.
So Dragnar, you and your comrade are standing there, just kind of waiting, probably not real sure what to do, and you hear, excuse me, and you turn around and you see a young woman standing kind of off to your side, and you can tell she's talking to you. Have you seen a small boy? It's about this tall, brown hair, probably acts kind of shy.
Say no.
And you can tell that she's wearing very simple clothes. Her hair is tied up into a bun. But she does have a short sword on her hip. Are you sure? Because I just had him here right next to me just a minute ago, and he disappeared, and I really need to find him. Are you sure you haven't seen him? Maybe your teammate, whoever's your teammate, maybe he's seen him.
A little boy? Doing what? What was a little boy doing?
Oh, we're entering the competition. I mean, what else would we be doing here?
A competition's no place for a little boy.
Father told us the exact same thing, and she starts kind of like rambling, almost like telling you her whole life story. And there's I'm so sorry, and she holds out a hand, probably to Dragnar. So she's the first one that she addressed. It says, I'm Katari.
I take it. Say Dragnar.
Yeah. As you take it, she shakes your hand almost like not violently, but like very like excitedly. Can you give me a perception skill roll?
That is a 19 modified.
Yeah, so as soon as she grips your hand, you immediately feel like that pins and needles tingling feeling in your hand.
I yank it away. What are you doing?
And she like goes like flush red, and it's like, I am so sorry. You see, I'm a lightning caster, and it's kind of hard for me to control it whenever I get anxious or worked up, and I'm honestly kind of freaking out right now. I really need to find my brother. But I'm so sorry if I hurt you or anything.
Say no hurt. I just felt the tingling.
Oh,
So where'd you lose your brother at?
See, I'm not real sure. He was standing next to me, and I looked away. I was looking at the columns, and then he was just gone. He has a tendency to kind of wander off. Mother says that he's not all there in the head. So I don't know, but I was told I had to look out for him, and me losing him before the competition has even started is not going to look good on me. I really need to find him. I mean, so I'm sorry, but if you haven't seen him, do you know anybody else here that I might be able to ask?
Maybe the people who run this joint. Ask the supervisors.
That's a very good idea. I'll go ask one of the ladies out front, and she kind of runs off, and then like as she's like running, she kind of turns around and like waves at you like thank you, and it's like starts making her way through this crowd. Let me make sure that I use the right word here. Very dexterously, she's like bobbing and weaving like it's nothing going through this crowd. And then a few more moments pass, and it's just getting like packed, more and more packed inside. And you hear, "Greetings, contestants! And you all kind of look up to where the voice is coming from, and there's a man standing on a balcony overlooking the lobby. It's, welcome to our great war capital, Horhelm. And there's like a couple of cheers and from the crowd. Today, we are gathered in the Horhelm Coliseum to find out which of you is worthy of the title of strongest in Horhelm. And more cheers just erupt from the crowd. On behalf of our leader and saint, Lord Kalis Habi, good luck to each of you, and we hope that you don't die. Win, fight, enjoy yourselves. Fight with everything you have. Fight as if your life depends on it. And you kind of tell that he's kind of making like a joke. And even more roars erupt, and it's like just echoing off of this vaulted ceiling. And he stomps on this balcony. It's a very like pronounced stomp. Like he's not just kind of like tapping his foot. He stomps it pretty hard. And underneath the balcony in the wall, this like slit kind of appears. And these two giant doorways open outward. And these doors were not there before. You would know that this was probably some kind of mineral casting to create these doors for y'all to enter through. It says, if you will please enter, we will begin the first phase of the competition. And people start filing in one after the other. So, go for it.
Kind of seeing that and the doors opening, knowing not only casting magic, but being proficient in, mineral casting, it would kind of put that grin on my face just to see like the craftsmanship behind the mineral casting. Almost in awe of, the amount of effort and casting power that the person who did this must actually possess in order to do something of such magnitude. Tapping on Diak. Let us go, my friend, for I wish to win. The sooner we get in, the sooner we can analyze everyone else.
Diak kind of nods his head towards the big doors and says, great, you can do that too, right?
Buddy, leave the thinking to me. You're my muscle. Just come.
I am indeed. And I kind of like make my way towards the door, pushing people out of the way if I have to. But always with a big grin on my face.
I am seriously getting like a Han Chewie type vibe here. So just thought I'd point that out here.
I love that reference. That was awesome. So as you start making your way, like I said, there's like hundreds of people trying to like file through this doorway. But in enough time, you all kind of pass through. And you're all taken completely off guard by what you see. You've been different levels. You've all kind of entered. Did I zone out for a minute?
Yeah, you're back now.
Okay. So when you enter, you're all taken off guard because what you've entered into is this like classroom kind of area where it's like a college kind of class where there's these different like tier levels, each of them with like a desk. And there's hundreds. This is massive area. And it kind of leads down to this small stage and a desk at the bottom of at the bottom floor. And there's a woman at the door. There's a woman actually on either side, but because of this large crowd, you wouldn't have seen both. That tells you as you walk through, do you remember your lot number? Okay, if you remember your lot number, find your seat. Each of them are marked. You're going to find the seat with your number on it, and you're going to take a seat. So you each kind of like, okay, well, this is a team competition, and they are splitting you up. So you are each going to go to the seat that has your number on it. Diok, you are going to seat number 3, which is closest to the bottom. It's actually on the first row. So these are going up. The higher your number, the higher up you are going.
Before I go there, I kind of cast a worried look over at Loki, and I go, we're not going to have to take a test, are we?
If we are, you better be looking over and not get caught. We can't afford to get kicked out because of your intelligence.
He kind of rolls his eyes and, don't worry about me, smartass, and goes down to his seat.
So yeah, so Loki, you are 57. And so you're semi far away from your teammate. Dragnar, you're at 75. So you're a little bit closer to the middle of this area. And I'm sorry, Chad, I missed your character's name if I can get his name real quick.
Zyr, Z-Y-R.
Zyr. Okay. And Zyr is 22, so he's a little bit closer to the bottom. And so you've all kind of spread out and taken your respective seats. And more people have filed in, and it's probably another 10 minutes before everybody finds their seats. And it's this little desk, and it each has a pencil on it. And but there's no like paper, there's no book, there's nothing like that on it. And you hear after everybody's kind of taking their seats, they're still talking, they're still like chatter, but over that you hear like this large or loud metallic like as this man that is almost completely covered in metallic prosthetics, both of his arms, both of his legs, his bottom jaw, and part of his torso are all completely made of metal. And he is making his way to this little stage at the very bottom. From where everybody is seated, you can tell this is a pretty large man. Diok, you're the closest out of everybody, so you're able to tell he is a massive man. This is a big dude. But he is human. But even the parts of him that are still human are massive. And he waits for a second for everybody to kind of notice him, which doesn't take long. And they all kind of quiet down. And he says, this is the lot that they gave me. Fine. My name is Cornan Gaizo. And at this name, I want all of you to roll me a history skill roll.
So if we're not skilled in it, don't roll?
It's just called a skill roll. If you are skilled in it, roll a d20 and add your intelligence modifier. If you are skilled in it, roll a d8 and tell me what you get without the modifier.
That's intelligence.
Yes.
12.
I got a 5 on my D8.
Oh, nice.
17 with a -1. So I rolled an 18.
Right on. What did Dragnar get?
A 12.
Oh, okay. And Diok, what did you get?
I rolled a d8 and I got a 7.
Oh, okay. Right on. All right. So all of you except Dragnar. Dragnar, you are the only one that does not know this. All of you immediately recognize the name. Loki, yours takes a little bit longer. Like you're like, I know that name. Why do I know that name? And then it comes to you, and it's not his name so much as his surname. Gaizo immediately rings a bell for Zir and Diok. You know that the Gaizo family are extremely famous among especially merchants because of their an ability that this family has, where if they look at you, they can read your mind. They know what you are thinking. They know when you're lying. They know when you're telling the truth. They just know. But it is when they look at you.
Do I know if they have to look into my eyes, like we have to make eye contact, or if you can, like, if I can be like turned around and he looks at me and he can read my mind?
It's pretty mysterious, and they keep it a big secret. As far as anybody knows, it's if they look at you at all. If you were in their line of sight, they can tell what you're thinking.
I put my hand over my face just in case.
We should fight him.
So Loki, you wanted to see if maybe you made his prosthetics?
Yeah. Just being.
You would.
Go ahead.
You would know that you did not. Just it's not so much the craftsmanship, but you would have known if this guy was walking around in something you made. Just because obviously he is of some kind of high authority and he probably has a lot of money to be able to afford all of this. Because the prosthetics, the metallic prosthetics are very well kept. Like no dents, no dings, no scratches, they're polished, which is a little bit odd because he looks like a warrior, but he doesn't look like he has any kind of scratches on him. So he says, so we are doing the first phase of the competition. And this is to test your mental strength.
Oh, crap.
There's more to being a warrior and being the strongest in Horhelm than muscle. And he holds up, which is ironic because he holds up his metallic arm, which is all metal. There is no muscle. And so he said, I will explain the rules. And he claps his hands, his metallic hands, and just like one after the other, these papers appear just seemingly out of nowhere on each of the desks. And he says, a final score of aided to pass. There are 10 questions. Each question is worth 5 points. Did I go out?
No.
No, you're fine.
Okay. Okay, everybody looked like they froze on me.
Because we started doing math.
Each question is worth 5 points. You pass or fail as a team, meaning that at the end of your test, you and your teammates' points will be added together to give your final score. Somewhere or someone in this room has the answers to every question. But to gain these answers would be a means of cheating. If a contestant is caught cheating, 5 points will be deducted from their overall score. If you are caught cheating 4 times, you are disqualified, which means that your teammate will also be disqualified. Lastly, you have 30 minutes to complete this test. And he just claps his hands again, and this little timer, like sand dial, kind of appears on the desk. And he walks over to it and flips it over. And the time begins. I will let y'all know immediately. We're going to go through. Back in school, yep. There are 10 questions. I have actual questions. You do not actually have to know the answer to these. Although if for some reason your character would, you will automatically pass the test. Or pass that question, I'm sorry. If there is no reason that your character would know this, you must make a roll. It can be any intelligence roll that you would like. Or you may attempt to cheat. When you make a roll, if you are not skilled in that skill, you have to roll an 18 to do a correct answer on that question. If you are skilled, you have to at least roll a 6.
All right.
What score do we need to pass?
And he just looks at you and shakes his head. 80 as a group.
8 questions as a group out of 20 questions.
And does anybody have any questions or anything that you would like to try and do before I read the first question to you? Which I will also post in our little chat so that y'all can see.
In the Google chat or the Facebook Messenger?
I'm going to do it in the chat, or the Google chat, or not. Facebook, there we go, that one, so that you can see it. That's the answer to number 1. Fail. All right. So I have ignore the little smiley face thing, because for some reason when I posted it or copied it over, it like I guess took it as an emoji and made it into a smiley face with sunglasses. So that is not.
I can't ignore it. Not now.
All right. So the first, as you look down at your papers, you see that the first question is, what is the weapon of choice used by Falsea, the goddess of war? How was it made, and when?
Yeah, that's 3 questions.
This is true, but it is the first question on the test.
So then, for personal knowledge, I have weapons as one of my personal knowledge. So would that mean that I would automatically know what that is?
Not necessarily, because unless you know specifically the goddess of war and what weapon she would have used.
I follow Falsey, and I have a personal knowledge in history.
So yes, so you will automatically pass.
And I know what it was as a player.
So yeah,
I do have history as a skill too. So does that? Probably.
If you want to roll history, then you can.
So then it would be a D8 then?
Yep. And you have to have a 6 or higher to pass.
Well, you're just making shit a whole lot difficult.
Since I craft weapons, could I try to use my craft to see if I could at least remember who crafted it?
Yeah, you could do that.
And how?
Let's just assume I failed.
What did you get?
Don't bring it up.
Look who's talking. I kind of nudged the person sitting next to me, and I've made like a little drawing of a mace on the corner of my thing, and I'm like that, like, hey, I got you on this one, but you get me back when you know an answer and I don't.
I actually rolled a nat 1 on my D8.
Nice. Okay. So, Dioc, give me a sleight of hand skill roll.
I'm pretty sleight of handy, man.
Lefty
17.
or righty?
What was it?
17.
Okay. So yeah, so you do this, which I guess is like really nonchalantly. You're just like, hey, yeah. And there seems to be no kind of consequence for it. So you're just like, yeah, cool.
It's just a pass-fail, so it doesn't hurt us that other people get correct answers.
It's just like
I'm into the dirt later. Maybe you'll get me back.
I'm sitting
Maybe
here
not.
like mind boggled, like what the hell is going on? And next thing you know, I see like out of the corner of my eye him just being all like, you know, all happy and giddy, and it's just like, oh god, I'm gonna hear about this one later.
Hey, Jim, I have a personal knowledge of my god, so would I automatically pass it?
Yes, you will. You will automatically pass it. And Chad, what was you're going to be using your craft to see if you can recall like how it was made, maybe who made it?
Yeah.
All right. And it is, so if you'll give me a D8 roll.
All right. Where's she at? There she is. I have a 4.
Or, yeah, you can't really remember. You think that it had a handle. The weapon had a handle, and that it probably looked really good, and it was probably something used for war. But other than that, you really can't recall who or what kind of weapon the goddess had, which makes it a lot more difficult on you trying to figure out maybe how it was made or who made it.
All right.
So the next question is, who was the winner of the First Great War? And what tactic did they use during the final battle in the territory of Corluptus? And why was this strategy so effective? And yes, I understand that was more than one question.
So I would do a D20 roll of like what, intelligence or something?
You can use any intelligence skill that you would like, as long as it makes sense.
Man. Maybe survival.
I got a 5 on
Or is that
my.
wisdom?
I got a 5 on my D8.
Okay.
So I have a written down that I have I think a personal knowledge of history. I forget where that comes from, but that was something I got. So is that the thing with the DH?
Yeah, personal knowledge is anything that you would consider your character automatically knowing. The example I always use is apple trees. If for some reason your character knows about apple trees, you can put that in your personal knowledge, and your character knows about apple trees for some God knows reason.
Okay.
So with like a personal knowledge and history, you would definitely recall, about the First Great War. It is a very famous war. But give me a D8 roll to see if you can recall like the different tactics that were used, and specifically that final battle that they're talking about.
I got a 7 on the DH.
He is rocking it. All right.
One of my personal knowledges of war.
Okay, so yeah.
I'm a warmonger, so.
So give me a D8 roll.
Six.
6. All right. And Chad.
Yo. So I got survival is the best thing I got to offer.
Okay.
Is that wisdom technically? Or is that? Am I gonna roll a d20 for that since I'm not?
Yeah,
or am
D20.
I getting a? Okay. 12 or no 10.
10. All right.
Pretty much gonna tank these unless I get some good rolls.
So you finish up that question, and it goes on to the next. And it's, if a water caster is fighting against a shadow caster, who would win and why?
I have casting knowledge, so I think I would probably know that specific.
Okay. So give me a D8 roll.
Four.
Alrighty. Oh yeah, Dioc, just like post the answer so everybody can see it.
Hey, you didn't catch me cheating. I made my roll for that.
Yeah, oh yeah. Alrighty. So so we'll just go down the row. Alex, what would you like to roll to try and figure out who would win in a fight, a watercaster or a shadowcaster?
I got nothing, and Dioc sucks at casting. I mean, he has no idea about this. This is not a strong suit. So I'm gonna roll a die and see if I get an 18.
Okay.
And that's a cock. It's a 9. He has no idea.
Yeah. Alrighty. How about you, Chad?
I'll give it a shot. Nope.
No.
He writes that it's a shadowcaster because one time he tried to scrub for 4 hours using water to erase the shadow of something, and it didn't work.
I like that. That was awesome. And Jason.
Just gonna roll dice, see if I get it. Because
Okay.
I'm a nomad and lived in the mountains, so I probably have no idea what other casters are like. Nope.
Nope. Alrighty, going on to the next one. Fourth question is 3 fighters in combat. One fighter wields a dagger and is a farmer. Another wields an arming sword and is a fisherman. And the last wields a spear and is a priest. Who has the advantage and why?
I use my survivability and my craftsmanship to
Okay, yeah, just give me a roll. I believe since you're skilled in them, give me a D8.
a 3.
All right. Alex, how about you?
The only angle I have on this one is that as a follower of Falsi, I am trained in like all sorts of weapons and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, highly trained in combat and are considered the greatest fighters in the world. So I feel like as that, I would have some sort of idea about this.
Okay, yeah, I could definitely see it fitting your character.
So what exactly should I roll then?
A D8.
All right. I got a 1 on the D8.
All right.
I'm
Law of
picking the farmer
averages.
with the dagger.
All right.
Because the other two will underestimate it and attack each other first.
Yes.
Definitely what happened.
And he just come around and slit the other's throat. And we're good. And Loki. Josh, how does Loki do?
All right, so one way I did really well, the other way I did really bad. So I have a personal knowledge of weapons. I don't know if that would really allow me to do the D8 option.
Yeah, because you would know the different properties and what's best. You would know, that a spear has the reach over a dagger. And so you would be able to compare the different flaws and advantages from the weapons.
All right, awesome.
So
then I got 7 out of 8.
You got what?
I got a 7 on a D8.
Awesome.
I'm really glad you went for that one because I rolled like a 2 on the D20. So.
All right.
And I'm gonna go the same route. My knowledge is war, and I'm a trained fighter, so I rolled the D8, got the 7.
Awesome. All right. Next one is, who is the author of Death on the Battlefield and How to Avoid It, Volume 2? And what year was it written in?
Could I possibly read that to become skilled in survival?
You could have, yeah, definitely. So, yeah, give me a D8 roll.
A 2.
Yeah, you read the first one. Like, you're like, I read Volume 1. But I didn't even know there was a Volume 2.
I like it.
So, Alex.
I think the author might have been Lord Callus Hibby, who's the leader of my religious cult. Or my religious group, I guess. So I'm not 100% sure it was him, but I think it might be him because that seems to be like right down his alley in terms of his teachings about war and stuff. So I don't know. Maybe I can roll a die to see if that's the right answer or not. But that's what I think.
All right, how about this? Give me a history skill roll.
Mm-hmm.
And if you pass that, then you'll be able to roll a D8.
All right. So I have okay, so I'm knowledgeable about history, so that's just an intelligence roll, right?
Yeah, because it's one of your personal things, you can roll a D8 for it.
Okay, and then if I get that, I get another D8.
Yep, and that'll be for the actual question.
All right, I got a 5 on the first D8.
Okay, so yeah, roll a D8.
And I got, well, that was an 8 on the second D8.
Oh yeah, like you're dead locked in. You know this answer. You're like, yeah. Which I must point out, Loki, come on, step up. You got like the dumb one is like passing questions.
I passed by the skin of my teeth. I got a 16 on die, but then I got like a +2, so then that put me at the 18.
Nice.
So continuing down my little line. Jason, how about for Dragnir? Or Dragnar, I'm sorry.
I may have knowledge in war, but it's probably more passed down by teachings, not book read. So I'm gonna roll a d20 on that, and maybe I read it.
Okay.
Maybe I didn't. We'll see. Did not read it.
Okay. And then Josh, was yours? Yeah, you haven't gone yet.
No.
Have you
yeah,
gone?
You asked me that already. I said I passed by the skin of my teeth.
Oh, that was the one. Yeah. Okay. I believe everybody's answered now. Yeah. All right. Number 6. What is the correct interpretation of the phrase, "Death follows life, as the leaf follows the wind, but when the rain strikes the sky and the mountain grows, no wind blows"? And we'll just go down the line again. So, Alex?
All I got for this one is that I deal with spirit magic, which the effects are often sort of life and death related, and so maybe that sort of connection that I have with the spirits could help me interpret at least the first part of that.
I would agree with that. So roll me a d8.
And that's
And Chad.
I would have to use a similar excuse.
Yeah, that's fine. So yeah, give me a d8.
Uh, 4.
Okay. Then Jason.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't know that unless maybe I was paying attention to my partner talking to me about it sometime. So I'll give it a d20 roll.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's see if it stuck. And hey, it stuck. I was actually
Right
listening
on.
that one time.
that one time.
One time.
Probably had a good joke with that one. That's probably why.
Yep.
I got plant
And it
knowledge,
was
so
probably-
plant metaphors qualify.
Yeah, I'll say they can because it does mention a leaf. So
Again,
So,
pulling
yes.
by the skin of my teeth. I got a 6.
and you're from the mountains, so you know mountain grows. So all right.
And Misty Meadows.
Yeah, love that song. Going to the next question. And I'm sorry, guys, about the questions, but it is necessary. In what year were the Te Deum transformed into their current form? And what were the names of the 10 casters that sealed them away?
This is
I'm
my
gonna fail
question
this
where I kind of elbow the guy sitting next to me. He looks pretty nerdy. He's got like glasses on. Like, dude, I helped you out with the weapon thing. Like, I kind of give him that look. Like, you got to give me a hand here. I got nothing.
So you want to attempt to cheat?
I totally want. I want him to pay me back for the time that I helped him answer the question to see if he can help me answer my question. So yeah, I'm cheating.
All right. Do you have now? I did make a mistake on the player sheet, the character sheet, where stealth is not actually on the skill list, but it would have been something that could have been chosen, like from your occupation or your religion. So give me a stealth roll.
That's cocked. Nope. 5.
So yeah, so you're just like, hey, let me see that. And you like kind of look up and you see the proctor at the just like almost right in front of you, and it's just like looking dead at you, almost like really.
Dang it.
Completely
Does he say anything?
face-palming, like
He
I
does
didn't
not.
know him.
Well, I mean, the guy saw me, but did I at least see the answer?
Yeah, we'll say you saw the answer. Give me a D20 roll plus 2.
All right. 19 plus 2, 21.
Hey, okay. So you got lucky and his answer was correct. All right. Chad.
Hopefully some knowledge from my partner wore off on me, because otherwise I don't think I have anything in this department.
Yeah, I'll say that that's a definite possibility.
So
So a D8 roll, please.
am I a D8? All right.
Yeah.
A 4.
Okay. All right. And because Dragnar is a Tedium, roll a D8 for me.
You got a 7.
7? Awesome. Yeah, you're like, my own history.
You better know this shit.
Yeah. And Loki.
So I have history and casting knowledge. So would that be a D8 or
Yeah,
D20?
D8.
I'm cool either way.
Yeah, D8.
Oh, finally. Okay, I got an 8 on a D8. So
Oh, okay, right on. Cool. All right. Going down to the 8th question. When a Raptorian spirit caster dies by drowning, what is the appropriate burial process that should be performed? And explain your answer. So, Diok. What does Diok think?
Diok actually thinks he might know this one. He's a spirit caster himself, and he spent a lot of times killing little lizards on the road for fun when he was traveling with his nomad caravan when he was growing up. And this one time he was casting some spirit magic on one of these lizards to like practice a little bit, and killed it and didn't perform the proper burial. And it rose up from the dead in his tent in the middle of the night and started crawling all over him with his undead lizard legs. And so that's when he learned that when that happens, you need to do the appropriate steps for the burial. Otherwise, you could do trouble. So he thinks he knows the answer. Did I get a D8 for that?
Yeah, for that explanation, give me a D8 roll.
Oh, and it's a 2. So, yeah, he says you should...
after drowning, drown it again.
What is dead may never die.
Since we've gotten his role and he has decided to make like the lizard and die, sorry, my dryer keeps going off. To do so, we're gonna go with Chad.
I'm gonna automatically fail this one because I don't think he would have any clue, and he's not very intelligent. So we're gonna go with the auto fail.
Alrighty. Okay, so Jason.
Yeah, I wouldn't know this one either. The only thing I'd probably do with lizards and snakes is I probably know how to cook them and eat them.
All right.
Yeah, I'd say I wouldn't know, but I think I'm gonna probably look over my shoulder and try to cheat here.
All right. Give me a stealth roll.
I got an 18 on die, and I think I get a -2 on stealth because of chainmail.
Yes,
Right.
you would.
So that puts me at what, 16?
Yeah. So there's like just the ever so slightest of like clinking, and it's like you hear that clinking, and you're like, oh crap. And you kind of like glance out the corner of your eye as you're starting to like look, and you see the proctor looking straight at you. And it's not really like he's scalding mad or anything. He's just kind of looking at you. So you're not quite sure if he actually like read your mind on that, or maybe he's looking past you. You really can't tell, but he's looking in your direction. Alrighty. And going to the 9th question. Who was the first religious leader of the war religion, and how did they establish the capital? And we'll start back at the beginning. So, Diog, how would Diog know this?
Well, as a follower of Falsey, he would know that the religious capital is, in fact, Horhelm, where they are now. He's always wanted to travel here to the desert. And so I feel like that would be part of the history that he would have learned in his following of Falsey.
Yep, and because of that, I would say that you probably automatically pass, just because you would have, as follower of the religion, you would have been taught all about the history.
Awesome.
Then Chad.
That would only depend on how vocal with his religion.
Oh, I always talk about my religion all the time. I probably even tried to convert you a few times.
Oh, good luck. Good luck with that.
All right, so yeah, give me a D8 roll.
All right. 5.
Okay. And since Dragnar is a follower of this religion, you will also automatically pass. And last, Loki.
So I have history as a skill, so D8.
Yep, D8.
So 7 out of 8.
Awesome. All right. Once again, I am sorry, guys, about that long, kind of drawn out process. All right.
Something different.
Yeah. So as you're, what were you gonna say?
Do we at least get the answers?
How about we get through that 10th question first? All right. So as you all get down to that 9th question, and you're like, okay, cool, one more question to go. And you look at the bottom of the paper, and there is no number 10. There is no 10th question written on this paper. And you probably all kind of like look around for a minute, and you see probably a couple other people like doing the same thing. And you look down at the timer, and you probably assume that you have about 5 minutes left. And the proctor just scans the room real quick, goes, okay, so you've all gotten to the 9th question and completed it. There are a couple more rules you should be aware of for the 10th question. First off, it obviously is not written on your paper. This is not a question that can just be written. First off, You may choose not to be given this final question. If you do choose to forfeit the 10th question, you will automatically fail, which means that your teammate will also automatically fail. And he just claps his hands one more time after saying this. And then on the desk in front of each of you, which is this like marble kind of countertop looking surface, just right behind the paper, like on the edge of the desk, it kind of begins to swirl. And you see it on every single desk. And it begins to swirl. And then it just shoots up into this like spear-like point that's aimed directly at your heart. And it's that every single person has this happen to them. He says, 2, if you choose to be given the final question and get it wrong, you will die. And so that y'all know, when you roll, if you mechanic-wise, metagame-wise, when you roll, it is no longer an 18 that you need. You need a 20 or more to pass. Or if you're skilled in it, you need an 8 to pass. And then he says, and he continues on, if you get the question correct, but your teammate gets the question wrong, they are killed. You as their teammate will also be killed. To refuse the final question, please raise your hand and you may leave. You're not worthy of being here. And so you immediately see like several hands shoot up. Like, I didn't sign up for this. Like, no, I'm good. Negative.
I jokingly put the person's arm next to me, like start to put it up.
Yeah, and like they start fighting you, and their like chest kind of like touches the point a little bit, and it like straws a little bit of blood, and they're like, oh yeah, no, and they let you put their hand up. And every person that puts their hand up, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just laughed, bro.
Every person that puts their hand up, they're the little spear that's formed in front of them just kind of goes back down into the desk, and he just kind of like, goodbye. I have to ask, do any of you want to raise your hands?
Fuck no. Matter of fact, I stand up and put the damn thing to my chest. Like, I didn't come all this fucking way not to compete in this competition. If I was afraid of dying, then I wouldn't have fucking come here. So let's get it on.
I'll stand and slam my giant fist against my chest and be like, "Yo!" to like support him and like laugh.
Yeah, and at that, there's rest of the people file out of the room. The doors close behind them. And there's this moment where he just looks around. And if any of you look around, there's, from the couple hundred, there's probably about 50 left. Give or take. And he just kind of claps his hands. This time it's a little bit different than where he's just like clap on, clap off, and things have been happening. He actually claps for like everybody. And the spears start to go down back into the desks. And I applaud all of you. If you chose to stay, you have answered the 10th question correctly. If you are not willing to put your life on the line, you are not a true warrior. You are not worthy to be the strongest in Horhelm. I congratulate all of you. And he just like kind of turns around and looks down at the timer just as like that final grain of sand is like falling out of it. And he just snaps his fingers and that disappears and all the papers in front of you disappear. And he goes, oh, by the way, that test meant nothing. There were no actual points allotted to any of that. And he
I just
just
start laughing. This gutturally belly laugh, so loud and so humorous, because I find it funny.
Me too.
So yeah, and
I
he-
clap. Oh, a good one. I love it.
Did we lose Jim?
I think we might have.
Yeah, it looks like it. He's been in the same position. Yeah, there we go. And now we got 2 gyms.
now we have y'all have 2 gems?
2 gyms are better than 1.
I don't know.
The end time.
Double down on the gyms.
Yeah,
There.
there we go.
I kicked out the other one.
Appreciate it.
It
Why
was
you didn't
the
kick out me?
imposter.
Yeah. But yeah, so the proctor has a smile on his face as he seems very pleased with what is going on, and that the fact that that everybody that has stayed has chosen to. And he starts walking over to the door, and as he does, the door opens, the one that he's walking towards, and flies open, and this bright like yellow flash. Oh, a young woman is standing next to him, and she's got like this giant smile on her face, like she's looking super happy, like super excited, and just real almost like giddy. She's just like, yeah, let's go. And she goes, oh, you've lightened up, huh? And she kind of hits the first proctor on the metal arm, kind of in a joking way, but he doesn't take it as a joke, very obviously. And he just rolls his eyes and keeps walking. She introduced herself. How's everybody doing? All right, so we're just going to go straight into things, and we're going to go on to the second phase. And she walks up and goes, okay, so we first tested your mental strength. Now we're going to test your ability to survive. And she, all right. So there's a couple rules. I know rules. Everybody hates rules. But rules are a necessity. First, you must survive until sunrise tomorrow morning by any means necessary. 2, if you encounter anyone, even another team, you may not enter combat with them, and you may not kill anyone. And 3, 2 will take place in the desert surrounding Horhelm. Located somewhere within this desert is a young girl. She is wanted for a crime, the crime of losing in combat, as according to the teachings of Falsi, which the two, Diok and Dragnir would both understand the severity of that, that you would rather die than lose in combat, because of the religion. You are taught that as soon as you chose this religion. You are taught that combat is everything and honor is everything, and if you lose, you're meant to die. And she continues on, if you should happen to encounter her, kill her. Anyone who succeeds in completing this task will be guaranteed a spot in the final phase of the competition. Any questions? No? Okay, good. And she kind of claps her hands one last time and raises them up over her head and starts like waving her hands in these weird designs. And from her fingertips, this like light begins to shine and trace like runes. And she begins to say some words that seem kind of oddness, or seem a little bit odd. She says, "Hear the sound of bells and recede into madness. Fall from the sky and crash into the earth. Behold the third eye snare." And as she says that last part, she just kind of pushes her hands out into these glowing runes of light. And you all feel yourselves become weightless. You all are engulfed in this light. And within mere seconds, you are all with your respective teammate. So you're now back in your teams. You find yourselves in the barren desert that you have traveled through to reach Horhelm. The sun is high in the sky, and the heat is near unbearable. You don't see any other teams around, and this is like a barren wasteland. There's just rolling hills of sand and the heat rising off of the ground. Is there anything that y'all would like to try and do before I continue on?
Do I see any cactus plants or anything of normal desert?
You do not. It literally is just like rolling sand hills for as far as the eye can see.
Then if I don't see any of that, then there's nothing I want to do.
I would at least remove my armor because I'm in full plate with the helmet on. So I think that wouldn't help me for too much for resisting the heat and whatnot. That would be probably pretty uncomfortable. So I'd remove my armor, wipe my brow a little bit, and I think I'd be like thinking I got to get out of the sun somehow. And so, I mean, I don't know how well this would work, but I think I would try to use like maybe the breastplate or one of the armor plates as a shovel and go to the side of one of these sand dunes and try to see if I can like carve out a little bit of the sand and maybe like hold it up with my breastplate to create like kind of a makeshift amount of shade. And I would do that like if the sun's going to be setting in one direction, kind of opposite to that, so the sun will hit the sand dune and hopefully make some sort of like protection or camp that will get me out of the sun.
Okay. Yeah, you're going to be able to. I want to see how well you can do it. So give me a craft roll.
That's a 10.
Okay, it's not like super extravagant, but you're able to make it. But because of how hard it is to keep the sand out of it and how big your breastplate is, it can either fit you into it or it can fit your teammate into it. Either way, it would actually be kind of tight because of Loki's wings.
Oh, you fool. Didn't you hear? Our mission is clear. We have to kill the woman. We have no time to make base. As you begin to see Loki's hands playing in the sand, and you can kind of see the sand swirling around his fingertips. Almost like how the Avatar is able to, mend water and all that other stuff, kind of similar to that. And then it like pretty much he's trying to create like an umbrella or something like that for his companion, so that way we can continue on. So I don't know if you want me to roll for that.
No, I will say since you're going to be like trying to keep this up, to just expend one casting point.
And I would be going, my friend, we are stranded out here in the middle of the desert. We have no water to start walking around would be foolish at best, with no way of resting. I've traveled far in my youth. I think we should wait until later in the evening when the sun is low, when the heat is down, to begin our search. Remember, our first task is to survive.
Hearing this from what he feels is just kind of his muscle, but also understanding he has a point. Fine, you stay here. I will take a quick look, and you'll kind of see, from his back, he starts stretching it out, and the wings start to, get fuller and fuller, spreading out, and he flaps them and goes up into the air to just kind of get a lay of the land.
And while you're doing that, I take like the umbrella that you crafted out of sand and melded into stone, and I would like use that to prop it up and to expand a little bit on the camp that I made. I also have a couple javelins that I have that I can use to like prop stuff up. So I'd continue to make that so that when you come back, if you're exhausted or something, you need to rest, there'll be some shade and so, something like that. Do we have water?
I'll let y'all tell me. Would y'all have brought? I was assuming y'all would have probably just a little water skin for each of you. I don't think that y'all would probably have an overabundance of water prepared for this. So Loki, as you fly up into the sky, it really is barren. You can't even see the city. You can't see the capital. You have no idea where they've dropped you in the middle of this desert. And you're just looking around, and you're not seeing any other teams. You're not seeing any cacti. You're seeing nothing. But you do see – make sure. Yeah. So you do see in the distance, you do see one thing. One thing stands out, mostly because it's just completely barren everywhere else. So anything would catch your eye, and you just see what kind of looks like a tree and something else kind of next to the tree. But it's a good, almost a mile away. So it's really hard to make out exactly what it is.
Okay. Kind of spotting that, kind of taking, that mental note of what direction that's in. He goes back down and says, "Don't get too comfortable. We will be leaving shortly." Kind of pointing in the direction that I saw the tree. There is better shade, but it's still a little ways away.
So I guess our plan would be to camp out here in our makeshift shade and conserve water until it gets if the sun's lower in the sky and it's a little more feasible for us to traverse and get over to whatever he saw.
You're muted, Jim.
Sorry about that. So yeah, okay, cool. So Zir and Jagnar, would y'all like to do anything as y'all realize y'all been pretty much just dropped in the middle of nowhere in the blistering heat of the desert sun?
Zir would remove his ginormous, heavy cloak and fold it in a way that when he held it with his outstretched arms, it would create a canopy for his smaller companion underneath him as they walked.
And as he does this, I look at him and I go, "Thank you, but that's really not necessary. I'm fine. I got a hard body. I can take this heat and the abuse it does to me."
I just figured you might want to conserve yourself, you know, just in case we run into anything.
And so y'all are going to begin walking, correct?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm going to use my try to use my knowledge of mineral and knowledge of difficult terrain for my personals, and like bend down and start playing with the sand and try to see if I can maybe sense where it's cooler or what direction we should head in.
Okay, yeah. So give me a D8 roll with advantage.
Oh, it's not.
We got a 7. Glad it was with advantage.
Nice.
Rolled a 1 and a 7. That was awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah. So you're kind of playing around, you're looking. Something about the landscape, you're kind of able to tell that the way that the wind is blowing, that there's you've been in a similar situation, and the way the wind is blowing, you know that there's some kind of like reservoir or like crevice somewhere nearby that's creating like an updraft. And there should be a lot of shade there, and that there should be possibly water. And it's not far, and you can kind of tell the direction of it.
Okay. I tell that to my friend. Say, I know where we must head. Follow me.
All right, since y'all are walking, I want one of you, I don't care which one, to roll a d20 for me.
Go ahead, Chad.
Do I get anything to this?
Nope, straight d20. You don't want anything added to it.
4.
Okay, so y'all have only been traveling for about 4 hours. You sure you don't want like a 6 added to it or something? But so y'all start walking, and it's about 4 hours later, and I'm gonna say, Dragnar, kind of because you've been in a similar situation, you're paying a lot of attention to the sun, and you notice that it hasn't moved an inch in the 4 hours. It's still extremely like high in the sky, just like right over you, where it's unrelenting. And about this time, you crest over a little sand dune, and you can hear, carried on the wind, the sound of someone, and you can tell it's female, screaming, "Help! Help me! Help!" Just at the top of their lungs. And you can see, as you're cresting, that there is a giant fissure in the ground. It's just like a straight like cliff drop that's like 30 feet wide from one side of the desert to the other, and it just goes on for miles in either direction.
I look at my partner. It's probably that chick that we're supposed to kill if we see her. What do you want to do?
Well, I thought this was your expertise, being your goddess and all. Can't you kill her? I'll help you.
Do I see the person yelling? Or just hear it?
You could definitely hear it. Give me a perception check.
Yeah. No, 11.
11. Yeah, you're not able to see him, but from the way like you can hear it and like the echo, you can kind of assume that it's coming from inside of this fissure in the ground.
You said it was like a 50-foot drop?
Well, it's like 50 foot wide.
Oh, okay.
From one side of the desert to the other. So it's like a massive area. And then as far as length, it's as far as the eye can see one way, as far as the eye can see the other way.
Start making my way down.
All right. We'll stop on you. Go on y'all and go back over to Loki and Diop. So y'all have kind of camped out and kind of waited for a minute. Give me a D20 roll.
16.
16? Oh my god. Okay. So this is actually taking place after they have found this fissure. So this is actually 20 hours later.
Okay,
And-
I'm not sure we necessarily would have waited for 20 hours.
Okay.
Is that okay, or is there
Yeah,
like
that's
something
fine. How-
happening that?
No. That's perfectly fine. How long would y'all have waited within that time frame?
So I mean, I don't know about you, but I was like kind of waiting for the sun to go down. So I would be like hiding out, peeking a look at it, hiding out, peeking a look at it. Does it look the same? Like it's just staying up on the horizon?
Yeah, it literally is just right above you. And even if you don't stay this long, literally 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours pass, and it hasn't changed.
Yeah, I feel like if the sun hasn't moved after about 2 or 3 hours, I mean, I don't know what you're thinking.
After about
Loki.
2 hours, I'd get impatient. Very
Yeah,
impatient,
and I'd be like,
especially
man, I don't-
knowing something that's there.
I don't know if this was the move. It seems the sun isn't behaving the way it normally does. We can stay here and cook, but I'd rather get on the move. Maybe
The sooner
investigate
we
what you
get this
found
job
earlier.
over, the sooner we get this job over, the sooner we can win that prize.
Indeed. Let us march then. And I'd pack up my stuff, pack up camp. I wouldn't wear my armor. I would put it like if I have a backpack to carry it in, or try to like strap it, so that it wasn't like baking me inside of it. And then take the umbrella to give us some shade and carry that too. And we march off, I think, towards the direction we found something, right?
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, so y'all start marching.
I wear my armor just because I'm a fire caster, so no amount of heat even really bothers me at all.
True. So yeah, so y'all start walking in the direction that you saw the tree and whatever else was next to this tree. And as it starts to come into view, you can kind of see it through like the waving lines of the heat rising off of the sand. And if you'll both give me perception checks.
Perception is which one? I got 18 on die.
Okay.
I got a 12.
All right. Loki, you're more accustomed to looking through heat and being around it. So you're the distorted image, your mind just like reconfigures. So you're able to like make this out really clear. You see the tree and you kind of follow one of the branches out, and it's a completely, it's not so much a dead tree. It's just like starting to wither. So there's not many leaves on it. It is casting a little bit of shade. But you follow one of the branches out, and you see a rope tied around the top of this branch. And you follow the rope down, and you see a young girl hung in a noose, standing on a little barrel. And you can tell that her arms are tied behind her back and that at any moment she could fall. And right there, it's up to y'all if we continue or if we call it. If we continue, I was going to take a little break, go to the bathroom, do all that good stuff.
Up to y'all. It's early for me.
Yeah, it's still
Californian.
early for me too.
I'm good to continue. I don't know
So
when I'll
8
have
o'clock.
another free day to keep going. So as far as we could get today, I think that would be pretty good.
Yeah, I guess that I can stay up a little bit longer. Yeah, let's. I can do another hour or so, hour and a half.
Okay, awesome. So we're going to take a little break. During this break, where y'all are going to go up to level 5.
All right.
Pretty big jump. Okay.
Yes, it is.
Mhm.
Because I couldn't tell y'all like from the get-go that that there's a written test and so yeah, so we'll take that little break and then y'all do that bump, okay?
Awesome. The first one back. I guess so.
I never left.
Oh, hey Chad.
Hey. Gotta look up and see what we get each level,
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
which jumped up a whole bunch too. Casting points by.
And then being, I gotta worry about more than just one thing, so it sucks.
You what?
I got dual casting, so
Oh,
I-
you gotta
I
pick
gotta
and
do-
choose now.
I don't know how
You're
that
torn.
works. Do I choose one from each, or I always forget how that
I don't
works.
know. Or do you put levels in each one? You put like 3
Yeah,
in one, 2 in another, or something. I don't know.
yeah, exactly. So I'm not sure how that works.
Me neither. Who might know? Jim might know.
I would hope so.
I would hope so too. All right, where's the leveling thing? I gotta go back to the top, I think. Mm-hmm. Races.
Yo,
Hey, man. Yeah, sorry
what's
about
the
that,
first
guys.
one we were talking about?
Yeah, I know. I was watching y'all. Yeah. So for dual casting, you're gonna choose which casting you want to go with, and you're gonna choose an ability from that. So, like, if you want to go with the second level in flame casting, you choose an ability from that, and then you can go and choose the second level ability from mineral as well. But like consider that like the first time for the first level increase, you're going to go for flame. Then the second level increase, you could go for mineral, and then you could just go back and forth, or you can put all 5 into flame or mineral. It's up to you, but you got to pick which casting you want to pick an ability from.
Understood. Well, thanks for giving away what I, have. Do, 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 do. So I only get to choose one out of her level, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you choose one ability from each level.
Yeah, we're first level, not 0 level.
Yeah, y'all started at first level.
My character's done already.
Well, lucky you. I'm still trying to figure out which way I want to do this.
When I made this character, I went all the way up to level 10. All I had to do was roll hit points and roll my casting points.
Hey Jim, at the last sentence in leveling up, it says whenever you increase in levels, at each level you may choose one ability listed. What does that mean?
All right, so like under your cat when in your casting, it's got like first level, which you get your manipulation, which everybody has. That's the only thing that you'll get from first. When you go to second, there's going to be 4 abilities listed, and you get to choose one of those. And then at third level, you're going to choose. There's 4 different options for increases, and you're going to choose one of those. Same thing with fourth. Fourth level, there's 4 abilities listed, and you choose one of those.
Within the casting section of
Yes.
that particular
So we're leveling up.
element or whatever.
Sorry,
Yeah,
I
level 5.
missed the bandwagon here.
Yeah, we're gonna speed it up just a little bit.
Okay.
And we're gonna jump to level 5.
What? Holy moly. Okay, I'm not prepared for this. Level 5. So I roll 4d6 for my hit points. And
Yeah.
add my con 4 times.
Yep.
There we go. All right, that could have been better. I just got way tougher.
And then your casting points go up too, right?
They go up by...
Yeah. It's 1d4 plus your mana modifier.
That's good. That's not... And that's good. 7.
10, 12.
All right, that's not too bad.
But I
And then
have
we get to
regained
pick a
the
bunch of
one.
spells, and that's it, right? Pick my spells.
So then, like at third level, there's 4 things listed. You can get ability score increase, casting points, or whatever. You get to only choose one of those.
Yeah. Yep, one of those.
So I choose either ability score increase, or casting points increase, or speed increase, or skill increase, right?
Yep.
And if I took the thing from the Duncan that doubles one of my bonuses, I can't take ability score increase, right?
Yep.
So I have to pick one of the other 3.
Yep.
That sucks. Worth it.
So technically, going up to 5th level, seeing as you already start off at 1st level, seeing as I'm a dual wielder, I already have 1st level in both. Realistically, I can just put myself to 3rd level in both, because then I'd be going up 4 and just doing 2 and 2.
Yeah. And then, yeah.
Oh, and we get a 5th level spell.
I'm still trying to decide on my 4th level.
Oh man. So, oh man, I want to ask a question about my spell, but I don't want to reveal what it does to my potential opponents.
Just text them in the Facebook chat privately.
Alright.
I just need to roll my stuff and I'll be ready.
I'm gonna have to like super improv this because like the whole thing, I don't know what happened. Like the whole thing that I had set up is like gone.
So you're saying we broke everything that you had planned?
No, it was I don't know how it didn't save or something because it was on Google Docs, so it was supposed to like automatically save. But for some reason, it's not here.
Are you sure you didn't save it under the RPG Enlightenment Gmail?
Yeah.
You know, Jim, you always give me a reason to hate you every time we play together.
Yeah, I know. This time it was not intentional.
Well, it's just you're making me choose between what I want and what makes sense for my character. I just hate that it doesn't line up with what I want.
Yeah, that's why I can't wait to play an actual campaign or something with this sometime.
Because, I mean, I had everything, mentally like, okay, this is kind of how my character is, and this is kind of like his persona. So for me to just say, oh, well, I'm just going to do this, when it doesn't necessarily make sense for everything that I've already thought, just because I think it's cool to have. You really give me reasons to hate you, sir. Well, I'm ready whenever everybody else is.
Okay.
I'm still asking questions about my potential spell.
And to kind of not type it out, hopefully you'll understand, but no, like.
All right.
Like out. Alrighty. Let's see. So we'll go with Loki and Diok first. So you've seen this figure essentially being in the process of being hung from this tree, and it is a young girl, probably in her mid-teens, and she has long blonde hair, and from what you can tell, she's, I mean, by all rights, frightened. She is like scared, literally for her life, since she is kind of only one step away from being hung. What would y'all like to do?
Does she fit the description?
And nobody was given a description. They were just told that there was a young girl in the desert somewhere that had broken the law of losing in combat and was essentially marked for death. If you found her, kill her.
And we don't see anybody else around. I mean, it's barren desert, right? It's not like
Yep.
there's like tons of hiding spots or anything.
Yeah,
It's just a tree.
Yeah, unless they're behind a dune that's probably 40 feet away.
I walk up to her and I say, "Hello, young lady. You seem to have found yourself in quite a predicament."
Yeah, and as you walk up, she's just like, help me, please just get me down. Just untie me and let me down. And it just, please. And she's like starting to cry and bawl her eyes out and just literally begging for her life.
Tell me, before I save you, are you a follower of Falsey?
No, why would I follow such a horrible religion? No, I follow Iana, which is the goddess of the wilds.
I want to see if she's lying to me.
Okay. So give me insight.
Would I be able to give him advantage on that, seeing as I follow the god of deception?
Yeah, definitely.
So advantage is I roll twice, or do I do the D8 then?
Yeah, twice.
Okay. Almost the same roll, and that's wisdom, right?
Yes.
16.
Okay. Yeah, y'all are pretty certain that that she's telling the truth. Loki, she's not showing any signs that she's lying. Like, there's no indicators. And Diok, you're a battle-hardened follower of Falsey, and this girl is like petite and doesn't have like a scratch on her. Like, she looks dainty. If she is a follower of Falsey, there's no way she lost in combat because she doesn't have like any battle wounds. She either was too fast and they couldn't catch her and she ran away, or she's not a follower, or she's too good to get hit. And if that's the case, she wouldn't have lost.
I kind of nod and grab her with one hand and pick her up a little bit off the stool, unsheathe my sword with the other hand, and slice the rope. Set her down on the ground.
Yeah, she almost looks like frightened that you're about to like literally hang her, like lift her up and kick the barrel. And then she falls to the ground. And as she
I like
falls
sit
to
her
the ground,
down on the barrel. Yeah. Just like right in
Okay.
front of me. What is your
So,
name,
yeah.
young lady?
My name is Ira.
Ira, you will be careful in the future about how you speak of Falsi. She is my god, and my honor requires me to defend her if she is slandered.
And she goes to like you can tell that she's going to like apologize, like because there's like fear in her eyes, like, oh my god, he's gonna kill me for this now, and then there's like another hint of fear, and she kind of like looks behind both of you, and then just lets out like a scream, and just yells, "Look out!" And then we're gonna go over real quick to Zira and Dragnar. So y'all are standing at the base of this like canyon in the desert. You've heard the screams for help coming up. That Dragnar has kind of determined is from the fissure. And as y'all have gotten closer, you've noticed that holding onto the ledge are these two hands, these two small hands, and the screaming and the pleas for help have gotten louder.
I'll make my way up there quicker and look over. What do I see?
You see a very young, probably in her mid-teens, girl with long black hair. And she is just like holding on for dear life. And as you look down, you can tell that there's like seemingly no bottom to this canyon. Like it just recedes into darkness. And she's just holding on for dear life on the cliff of it.
I'll grab her arm and lift her up and set her down.
And it's
say, how'd you get in that predicament?
Yeah, it's really easy for you to do. She's super petite, super small, almost like there's no muscle whatsoever. And the whole time she's just like thanking you, like, oh my God, I didn't think anybody would come. And you, my saviors. And she's just like starting to cry just in like relief that somebody has come to save her. And as you set her down and ask her how she got in that predicament, I was trying to get to Horhelm, and me and my sister got separated, and then there was, and she screams and she points behind you and says, "Look out." And so I want everybody to roll initiative.
Are we using our dexterity modifiers?
Yes.
It's a solid 8 for 0.
All right. So we're going to basically do, because you're in two different areas, we're going to do a couple of rounds for one group and then go over to the other. Kind of do this like flashbacks. Let me make sure this. Okay, they are in order right there. All right. All right, so we're gonna start with Loki and Diok.
Awesome. So Diok is hauling like this huge thing of armor on his back. He's sweating, and he just draws his swords. And like as he does, he kind of slices the makeshift strap that he made to hold his armor onto him. And it just all goes clattering to the ground as he whirls around and just closes in on whatever's there, drawing his other sword. He's just going to go full at him with 2 sword attacks.
All right, so as you do that, you whirl around just in time to see the very large hulking shape covered by a large cloak come crashing into the ground. I need you to give me a dexterity save. And basically it's just a d20 roll with your dexterity modifier.
10.
10. Yeah, and he this shape just like crashes right into you. And you take 3 points of bludgeoning damage as this massive fist, and you catch just the glimpses of it as it comes flying at your chest. And you see the hard, thick reptilian scales as they collide with you, sending you sliding back in the sand just a couple of feet. And you hear this very reptilian hiss go, "Yes, I thought we would find you here." And
Asherin, a pleasure to make your acquaintance again. I prepare you on this side of my steel, and I go to swipe at him.
all right, give me 1 second to.
We technically were told not to fight with each other, right?
Yes, you were told not to fight.
He definitely hit me first.
This is also true.
We were told to survive until morning. How are we going to survive if we don't fight? Plus, it's against my religion to not fight.
This is also very, very true.
That guy hit me.
I can't fight that. I'm really trying to create a reason to fight that.
You go to try and swipe, but the Python Raptora that was doing all the talking when you had met him in the line kind of comes at you from the side, and he actually beat you in initiative. So he's going to try and make an attack against you.
Bring it. So what's my armor without my armor?
It should be whatever it is -5, I believe.
Yeah. Still respectable.
Yeah.
21.
Nice. Let's see.
22. Sorry, 22. Nope, 21. Definitely 21.
21?
Yeah.
So yeah, you're just barely able to make it out of the way as one of his clawed hands just like comes at you. He rolled a 20. So he almost hit. It was not nat, it was modified, but almost hit. And then Diok, it will be your turn.
All right. So is that guy Asherin or is that the other guy?
Kaga is the large one with the cloak on, and Sharin is the one that has been doing the most of the talking. He's the Python.
Okay. So I want to go for the guy who attacked me first, who made me do a dex save and dealt some damage.
So Kaga, gotcha.
So I'm going to attack Kaga. And that I have 2 attacks.
Okay.
So should I just give you both numbers?
Yeah, go ahead and give me both.
So I got a 16 and a 15.
First one's gonna miss. The second one was a 15.
Yeah.
Sure. And they will both miss.
All
and
right.
It's basically, because you're attacking them with swords, right? Or is what weapons are you using?
2 identical swords.
All right, so both these swords come into contact. They both hit, but you feel just them sliding against like sandpaper, and you're shredding this cloak that he's wearing. And as you finish up these 2 slashes, the cloak just kind of falls from him, and he just kind of stands up straight. And when he does, you can see that there are what look like hundreds of eyeballs. He actually has what seemed like hundreds of eyeballs. They are fully functioning. They are blinking. They are all over his body, his torso, along his neck, and up his forearm.
What I see is hundreds of weak points.
And then it's Loki's turn.
Kind of seeing this kind of happening, hearing the clashing, but and hearing him kind of go all wild. Loki's foot will just slam against the floor, and kind of what I'm imagining here is as like he kind of like I forget her name from the last Avatar, where she's able to control like the rocks and just like Toph, yeah, there you go, and just like create a sand barrier between Dart and the other guy.
Okay, yeah. So that's just going to be 1 casting point.
And when that happens, I'm just gonna be like, yeah, I'm not gonna lose for no foolish vendetta. I was honestly waiting for the stupid comment back. Okay, nothing. Cool.
If we flee from this fight, we lose our honor, which is worse than losing a medal in a competition.
All right, so that chunk of earth has come up between you two. And I'm going to shoot over to Zir and Dragnar. So as this girl kind of screams out and says to look out, I need Dragnar, I need you to make a Constitution saving throw, which is just a D20 plus your con mod.
$19.
All right. So you feel that tingling in your hand start up again. And it's like you feel it, like it starts to kind of spread up your arm. but you kind of like fight it off, like almost like shaking your arm as you're turning around to see. And you see Katari, that girl that was looking for her brother at the start of the competition. And she's standing there with this small boy. Like, he's probably no older than 10. And he literally looks like death. He's real sickly looking and just not looking okay at all. How would you react to that?
See, well, we were told not to fight other components, but my God outranks this or their rules, so you start it. Now I'm gonna finish it.
And hearing that, she kind of just like almost like shoots you like this wink. And as she does, you feel that tingling in your hand actually turn to pain. Originally, you would have taken 16 points, but now you're going to take 8 since you passed that save of poison damage. No?
I am actually resistant to poison and disease, so I would take none.
So yeah, you're not taking anything.
And
Right
I
on.
smile and look at her. Say, you gotta do better than that, little girl.
And she looks like almost like taken aback by it. Like, how dare you?
I love these skills.
And out of nowhere, like you're kind of focused in on the sister, and you see like this little shimmer, and out of nowhere, these like inky black, almost like spears, shoot from the ground on all sides of you. Almost like they've encircled you, and you notice that this boy that was standing next to her has kind of moved off to the side a little bit, and his shadow has extended and is circled around you. And I'll tell you in 1 second what's going to happen. So I just have to get to it. All right. So I need you to make a defense roll using your AC. Unless you get a nat 20, I don't think you're going to escape the first one.
Got 25.
And that's with all the modifiers and everything. You didn't get a nat 20, right?
No.
Okay. Yeah, his nat 20 is automatically going to hit. So how much was it? It is all right. So it's not too bad. So they all kind of converge into one like spear-like shadow and just ram into you, and you're going to take 12 points of piercing damage as they just rip through you. And then it will be Dragnar's turn.
As these shadows hit me and give me piercing damage, as a bonus action, I stomp my foot in 24-foot radius. The ground just starts to crack, and it all becomes difficult terrain. And then I charge, pulling my battle axes out, and I'm going to hit the boy with both of them, or attempt to.
All right, give me the 2 attack rolls.
17 and a 13.
First one will hit. The second one will not.
Takes 13 points of damage. And that'll end my turn.
Alrighty. And then Zir is going to be your turn.
So there's just this boy using his shadows to attack my comrade.
Yep, and then there's the sister that y'all saw at the beginning that's just kind of standing there, like, watching. You almost get the sense like she's, like, standing back like he's got this.
I'll kind of do the same, but I'll get in a fighting stance with my fist ready to go in the event anybody does anything towards me.
Okay. All right. And I do hate to do it because I kind of dragged y'all along through pretty much nothing. But for Josh's sake and probably my own, since it's also late here, I am probably going to call it. But what we'll do, if everybody's cool with it, is I'll set up a time where I can sit down with both teams instead of getting everybody else together as well, and just do team ones until we can get to the PvP.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine, dude. No problem, man.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, I can stay up a little bit longer, but I'm like, I don't know if you guys can tell how slim my heads are getting here.
Yeah, we're tired.
All right, then. So you're calling it?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and call it. And like I said, I'll set up. 'Cause I know Alex, you don't know when you're really gonna be available. So we'll figure something out where we can get you and Josh together. You're muted, by the way.
Yeah, we can probably figure out like a weeknight sometime within the next 2 weeks.
Okay, yeah, sounds good to me. So once again, I do apologize to my players. I apologize to anybody that watched. It was a little bit drawn out. There wasn't really any combat. It didn't quite go as planned, and I see a couple of things I could have done different. So hopefully the next playtest will actually be a little bit more interesting for everybody involved.
Oh, there's no problem, dude.
I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
I always like it when there's
I'm
some
not
role
complaining.
play and stuff.
Yeah, just straight up combat gets boring.
But
Beat the
I'm sure we'll
crap
get to
out of
that.
these lizard people,
Yeah.
crocodile people, and snake people.
I'm sure we'll get to
You
a lot
wanna
of
do
combat when we
the,
get green anyway.
You want to do the outro real quick?
yeah, sure. So yeah, first, is there anything that anybody wants to say? Anything that before I do my thing? All right. So this was the first official playtest for Adventura, the system that these guys are helping me work on, and we're gonna try and set up some other games, get a little bit more feel for abilities and how the mechanics work. Because combat is more or less everybody's favorite part of any kind of role play game. I'm Jim. I'm one half of RPG Enlightenment with my buddy Josh, and hope to see you next time. Go and check out some of our other videos, and may you always seek enlightenment.